Springs Culture Cast is brought to you by the Smoke Brush Foundation for the Arts, by UCCS TheaterWorks production of Doubt, by Newspeak, by a generous grant from the B. Vradenberg Foundation, and by viewers like you. Thanks for your support. Check us out on Pikes Peak Library District, Channel 17, every night at 6 o'clock, and on KRCC 91.5 FM, Monday through Friday at 11:55 a.m. and 8 o'clock p.m. Hi, this is Craig Richardson with Springs Culture Cast. We're at the Community Prep School in downtown Colorado Springs, sitting in on a rehearsal, a speed-through rehearsal, where they're reading the lines really fast in preparation for the upcoming production of the Heidi Chronicles by Wendy Wasserstein.
She didn't say anything at all.
Well, how could I say anything when both of you were so eager and willing to say it for me? Oh, you two should be regulars on the show. The Cynic and the Idealist, a real cross-section.
Heidi, calm down.
You have no right to tell me to calm down.
Heidi Chronicles is a wonderful play because it talks about how it really is a good counterpoint to where we were and where we are now. It helps people see. And the people who are my age or older are going to look at this play and go, oh yeah, I remember those times. And the people who are my age or younger are going to say, really? It was like that? You're kidding. You know, but to not stay in the safety zone and do You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown for 150,000 times, you know, not to say that it's not a good show or that it shouldn't be done. It should be done. It's a great piece of theater, but in terms of broadening the people's horizons and opening people's minds, and theater is its own unique medium. It really is one of the few things. Theater and movies are the two of the things that I think can really transport people and get them to have empathy for characters that they might not otherwise have empathy for. You know, so to get a good show that has gays and lesbians in it, to get a good show that talks about women's rights and men's rights and race rights, you know, really allows people to have compassion for a point of view that they might never otherwise care about or think about.
Heidi, honey, stay. We never talk. What's new?
I have to meet that painter.
Work isn't enough. I've learned that.
Well, screw you, buddy.
Heidi Chronicles is a very good play at looking back at feminism, but also poking fun at feminism. So it's a hard line to say whether it's a comedy or a drama, so I would say it's 50-50. Because a lot of the different things that are represented within it, feminism-wise, are almost caricatures, so you can actually take a look at it with nostalgia, but also look at it in a funny vein. As far as my role goes, as I tell all my friends, I am the reason that women hate men. So I am that role, and it's pretty fun, actually. So it's a fine line for me to walk as far as being liked but not being hated. Can I interrupt and say that if we're asking women to compromise, we need to ask men to compromise too? Just this year, Lisa won the Widener Prize for her illustrations in King Ginger Goes to Summer Camp. I am every bit as proud of that as I am of Boomer magazine.
But Scoop,
What is it like, I mean, the kind of the experience of a local actor, you know? I mean, what do you get out of it, and why do you keep doing it?
I'm addicted to the stage. I'm addicted to making people feel, so there's just something about getting up on stage and making people laugh, making people cry. It's when you have an audience on your side, that's a very good feeling.
Why?
As you've seen this morning, we are serious people. We have a sense of humor. We are not young professionals or old lefties or righties. We're unique. We're powerful, but we're not bullies. We're rich, but we're not ostentatious. We're parents, but we're not parental. And I think we had the left magazines in the 60s, and we had the music magazine. Star Bar takes the risks and does plays that you wouldn't normally see outside of a proven venue. And that's a beautiful thing about Star Bar. And in addition to that, as an actor associated with Star Bar, you get more interesting parts, things that people haven't seen that they would need to see because they're relevant and, you know, funny and good. I mean, the Star Bar is a very good theater that needs the recognition that it doesn't get.
Scoop, I came to talk about women and art.
You play the role of Heidi in the Heidi Chronicles.
I do.
What can you tell us about the role and the play?
It's Wendy Wasserstein's concept of the feminist journey from the sort of naivete of the 60s to the disillusionment of the late 80s.
How does a play that's kind of written in the 80s play now in the 2007 year?
I think a lot of the points are still relevant, but very much like something like The Normal Heart, I think at this point it is in its own way a period piece.
Is there any kind of realization or any kind of resolution to what's going on?
Well, I think that there isn't really resolution, which I think is kind of the point. There's really no definitive answer about what women gain or don't gain in terms of feminism, what we sacrifice, but it is a nice look for women in this generation to see why. You don't really understand what you're doing until you look back at history, so this is a nice way of looking at how we got to where we are today.
Why should people come out and see this Heidi Chronicles play?
It's full of some really wonderfully talented, dedicated people. We've worked very hard to make this a vehicle that people will be interested in seeing, and the more you support local theater, the more you support the creativity of your own community.
Springs Culture Cast is a sponsored project of Fractured Atlas, a nonprofit arts service organization. Contributions in behalf of Springs Culture Cast may be made payable to Fractured Atlas and are tax deductible to the extent permitted by law. Please visit springsculturecast.com to find out how you can make a quick and easy donation that will help keep this program on the air.